and we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Fellow Americans, fellow patriots, good evening. This is Professor Toto, much later than normal, but I have a good reason. We just heard such a wonderful speech from our president. It was just wonderful. One of the greatest lines in that speech was, "They're trying to take my freedom because I won't let them take yours." Boy, that'll go down as one of those quotes of history. They're trying to take my freedom because they know I won't let them take yours. Great speech tonight. So I've got a lot I want to talk to you about. Before we get started, I don't have my bell. I'm in a hotel room reporting live from Miami, Florida, and Ground Zero, where it all went down today. But before I go any further, my audio is probably not good tonight. My video's not good. I'm doing the best I can for you. But I don't know whether to even waste the information that I have tonight if I don't have a good audio. Because I want to cut there's one thing I want to teach you tonight, and I want to cut it out and y'all share it everywhere. It's huge. But, okay, y'all are saying the sound's good? Okay, sounds good. Okay. All right, then I'll go for it. Okay, thank you. Joe Carroll says hers keeps pausing. I have more hope tonight for Donald Trump than I've ever had. And it's because of what I'm about to share with you. Hello, folks. Good evening, Gino Young. Brother Alan Trost, good evening. Folks, I know it's late. I know many of you have to get up and go to work in the morning, so I'm not going to belabor the point. Number one, I've never seen more of an outpouring of love than I saw in the streets of Miami, Florida. Every one of you would have been so proud. Every one of you would have been so proud to see the throngs of people. Now, I have put videos from today on my Facebook timeline. If you're not my friend on Facebook, or if you don't follow me on Facebook, I'm trying to see if I have a QR code for Facebook. Let's see. Let me see. Right there. Well, that's not a QR code, but that's. I put a bunch of videos on my Facebook profile today of today's events. It was phenomenal. When I tell you you should have been here, wow. I was really shocked that none of the podcasters were there that's been on this Trump train for so long. I didn't see any of the big name podcasters. That was shocking. I saw big name news, Lester Holt, Evening News. I saw a bunch of that, but I didn't see the podcasters. So I don't know what that was about. I kept looking for them, but I was there, and man, what a day we had. The speech tonight, President Trump mentioned all the love that he felt in the streets, and that's why I came. I wanted him to feel my love. I wanted to add my little cup of love to that ocean that was pouring into him the day before his birthday. I really believe that President Trump was given a birthday present today. I believe what happened today will usher him in to the presidency. I've never been more hopeful, but I have something that I have discovered in the law that I'm going to teach you about tonight. Okay? You're going to want to take notes and research and check out what I teach you. I never want you to believe me. I want you to research it for yourself. But I think we have something that's going to be a birthday present for Donald Trump. He said tonight, I will be back in the White House. I'm not going anywhere. And when I get there, we will obliterate the deep state. And then he said these words, and I loved them. He said, and I know who they are. I know who they are. That's why they must destroy him. All right, so let's dive right in. Before we do, Frank Luntz from Fox News said 1 year ago that Donald Trump will never be the president ever again. Today, Frank Luntz, y'all know Frank, Frank, was in an interview and he said, I think I was wrong. I now see how Donald Trump could be president again. And he said, and the sad thing about it, it is his opposition that's giving him the presidency. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Wow, 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 wow. All right, so here is what I believe. And, you know, I was the one that told you how things work for January the 6th. But I believe the birthday gift for Donald Trump was in something called Rule 29. Rule 29. If you don't know about Rule 29, you need to. So let me teach you about it. Number one, today in federal court, every other case that is pending against Donald Trump. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Fannie in Georgia, all of these secret fantasies were placed on adjournment today, okay? Now this is big. Here's why this is big. Remember, the Alvin Bragg case was already almost out of time for the statute of limitation. Because of some little weakness in the law, they were able to push it through and extend that statute of limitation. So the statute will probably run out on the Bragg case. Everything is on adjournment now. Letitia James said today she cannot move forward. All their hands are tied. Now, stay with me. So here's what's going to happen. In federal court, which takes precedence over state court, everything else is in adjournment, and the time has gone and started ticking now on the statute of limitations. Nothing can happen now until a Trump-appointed judge makes her rulings. I want you to hear what I just said. A Trump-appointed judge. Do you guys realize that this could have and should have been tried in Washington, D.C.? We need to pause and say, you know what? This is a bad hand we've been dealt, but let's look at the goodness of the Lord. It is being handled not only in Florida, but with a Trump-appointed judge. Her name, Aileen Cannon. Now, the president appointed the very judge that is overseeing this case. So let's start right there. By the end of Donald Trump's presidency, the statute of limitations will have run out on these lesser state charges. All right? So honestly, what happened today puts a cap on those little wannabe district attorneys in those Democrat states, okay? Did you know that Rule 29 of the federal judicial rules, okay? There's a rule there called Rule 29, which gives this judge the authority to ultimately dismiss this case. Now, she cannot do it until the trial starts. Now, that's going to be a year from now, okay? But in that year, nothing else is coming against Trump. They cannot tie him up in court anywhere else. His hands were set free today. This lady, Aileen Cannon, is in full control of, number one, the scheduling of the docket. Okay? That could have huge implications for the president, because now, once she sets a trial date, according to law, Donald Trump has a right to a speedy trial. That's typically, not typically, legally 70 days. That never happens. Never. And here's why. The minute you file a motion to dismiss, every time someone files a motion, that stops the clock on the 70-day right to a speedy trial. So if my attorney, Donald Trump's attorney, files a motion to dismiss, that 70-day clock stops until that motion is ruled on. All right? She is in full control of the scheduling, and the closer he gets to the presidency, the closer he gets to election time, is the closer he gets to a full pardon from himself on all of his so-called crimes. So all we need to do is what? Run the clock out. And who will decide how to run that clock out? You guessed it, a Trump-appointed judge. So Donald Trump's attorneys file a motion, clock stops. The other side's team files a motion, clock stops. We file another motion, clock stops. They file another motion, clock stops. The closer he gets to the presidency, the closer he gets to a pardon, full and free. So the schedule is really everything. You ever heard the old saying, timing is everything? All right, who's in control of the timing? So the Department of Justice cannot speed this up. No one can do that except for a Trump-appointed judge. Now, we're going to file a motion to dismiss immediately. Did you know that this judge can approve that motion? She sure can. We're going to file it, and a myriad of other motions. That will stop the clock and restart it every time. Number two, so number one, she's in charge of the schedule. She's completely in charge of the schedule. Number two, she's fully in charge of jury selection. And who is on the jury makes all the difference in the world. Okay? Under the federal rules of criminal procedure, I've not got to Rule 29 yet. Y'all hang tight. Under the federal rules of criminal procedure, she can, this is so powerful. She can, and I quote, substitute her own judgment, like any federal judge can, in place of the judgment of the jury. Let me explain that to you, all right? According to rule, now this is Rule 29, this part right here. Rule 29, under the federal rules of criminal procedure, she can, now she has to have a trial to use Rule 29. She has a trial. She listens to all the evidence. At the end of the trial, a federal judge, now no other judge but a federal judge can do this. She can say, I've heard the evidence, and there is no there. She impanels the jury. Now, she has to impanel the jury according to Rule 29. She impanels the jury, and then before the jury reaches a verdict, she can take her own judgment and say, I've listened to the evidence, there's no there, and now she rules to vacate the indictment. Now listen, folks, this is powerful, but here's why it's powerful. If she implements Rule 29, it is absolutely not appealable or reviewable. I want you to hear me. So let me make this plain for you. The woman that is now in control of this case, appointed by Donald Trump, has all authority to make a decision, and no one can appeal it. No one can review it. No other judges can review it. That is called Rule 29. It's in the federal rules of criminal procedures. It allows federal judges, if there is a motion by the defense, and they will be, to dismiss, she says, I heard the evidence. There's no need for the jury to deliberate. I've heard the whole case. We're not going to proceed. She can say this does not qualify for an Espionage Act. This should have been tried under the Presidential Records Act, which is civil, by the way. We're not going to do this in my court. Immediately, Rule 29 is invoked, and no one, nowhere can review it or appeal it. And if you cannot appeal it to the 11th Circuit, because then you have double jeopardy. So it's totally unappealable and unreviewable. She can toss it out because of Rule 29. Now, there's other things that she has power over. Number 3, evidentiary issues or evidentiary motions. So they bring all these pictures and say, look, he had all these documents. And she says, yeah, but I don't like how you got that picture. Did you do it this? She can rule not to even allow that evidence to be presented to the jury. All right. That's Rule 29. That's the way it works. And luckily, that power does not rest in the hands of a liberal judge. Today, it rests in the hands of a conservative, Trump-appointed federal judge. Now, do you see why your judge matters? Folks, here's what's going to happen. However this plays out, however it turns out, we're going to run out the clock until the election. Donald Trump will be elected. He will have all power by the Constitution of the United States to pardon himself of these crimes. Once he's in office for 4 years, now what's happened to those state charges? The statute of limitations have all run out. I've got more hope for Donald Trump today than I've ever had before. And not only that, a poll just came out. His numbers are skyrocketing. Let me see if I can pull that poll up for you. It's on my Facebook timeline. So Rule 29, you need to share this with all patriots. They need to know about Rule 29. Facebook said they just blocked my live stream for whatever reason. But anyway, all right, folks, that's it. That's really all I had tonight. Let me read the poll. The poll is, here we go. Are you ready? This is an average of all the polls. Today, Donald Trump is up 33 points ahead of DeSantis. It keeps rising every day. He's at 55.6%. So, hey, folks, this thing's going to work out. I know it's late. I shouldn't have kept you up this late. But I wanted to share what I had found out about Rule 29 and also to let you know, rest easy tonight. President Trump will rest easy. He knows the judge that's in charge of his trial. Okay? All right, folks. Julie Watkins, let me highlight your question because it's a good question. It's a good question. Let me, if I can scroll back up, there we go. She says, you're saying that he'll be elected, but he was elected last time and lost. How can we ensure the same won't happen again? Great questions. I was one of the very few podcasters that never talked about voting machines. None of you ever heard me do a show on Dominion or anything like that. I told you from the beginning, and I stand by it today. Donald Trump lost the election, so-called, because of mail-in ballots. Mark it down. That's why he lost, or so-called lost. Since the election, all of the swing states have passed. Remember, those swing states all have Republican legislatures. They have all passed laws now requiring voter identification, and they have closed the loophole for the mail-in ballot. That's great news, folks. Now, on top of that, will there be cheating in other areas? Of course. However, here's where Pastor Vaughn has to come in, okay? The very same God that gave Donald Trump a win when he was 11 points behind Hillary Clinton will be the same God that does it again. It's amazing to me how all of us patriots believe the Bible. We believe that David killed Goliath with one little stone. But when it comes to believing in that same God that can dispatch his angels to election stations, we just don't have enough faith for that. Folks, listen to me. It was God, Yahweh, that let Donald Trump leave the White House, or he would have been impeached. I've told you that 1,000 times. Learn to trust in the God that loves America more than you do. Okay? It's going to all work out. I'll see you guys Thursday night, okay? Y'all hang in there. Better days are just ahead. Have no fear. Good night, everybody.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea,
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA,
where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't